Oh,
to
you
your
can't
time.
see me.
All right.
It's day 8.
All right, bro. All right, bro. All right, I'll see.
On the chairlift in Colorado. Say hi.
Hello. Hi. Hi.
Aiden's really happy about getting up early and skiing. There's the mountain.
It's beautiful, man.
Day 8. Okay, so I'm taking a break. No, I'm not taking a break. I didn't go back out to go skiing. The boys are out skiing, and I'm in here because I'm exhausted because I skied my ass off all morning. And I feel like resting. And so I turned on a movie that my mom had sent me. And I just had to get this off my chest. It's about loss and people dying and tragedy. And, we all think that death or loss or divorce or, all these tragedies, which of course are horrible to go through at the time. And it's totally normal to grieve and be sad. But what if, as a whole, we switched our perspective on these things? What if it was just a perspective shift? And what if we looked at these things as what grows us, as not bad, but what evolves our soul? Death, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. The person that dies is moving on to, they, as far as I'm concerned, won the lottery, because I've had glimpses into what that other side looks like. And I'll tell you what, there's some days where you crave being in that more than this, especially when you've had a taste of it, how much love there is, unwavering, unconditional love. And sure, us as humans in our 3D bodies are sad and it hurts, and we go through the normal grieving processes of any kind of, separation or loss or whatever it may be. But, those are the things that make us the strongest. And, I think if we learn to just shift our perspective, life could be so much different. This morning in skiing, and it sounds silly, but it made me think about love over fear. And I always ask at the end of my interviews, what does love over fear mean to you, to the person I'm interviewing? And I can't remember who it was, but they said is love is expansion, fear is contraction, which I loved that because it's so true. And this morning, Scott and I went up on top of a bowl, which is almost a black diamond. It's not that hard, but again, my mind and fear gets in instead of just being in the flow. So when I am in my head and I'm being afraid, I contract. I don't ski as good. I trip up more. I don't ski as well. And then when I let go and I let go of the fear, and I'm just in a happy place and I'm just enjoying going down the mountain, and I'm trusting in my body and I'm trusting in it all. Oh my God, well, maybe I don't look like this, but inside I feel like an Olympic skier. But the point is, it's a feeling. I feel in the flow and I'm just enjoying skiing. My legs don't hurt as much. And that to me is a small example of love over fear. It's contraction versus expansion. I don't know. It just made me think a lot about all of that. I've been kind of in a weird, funky mood the last couple hours. I think part of that is just being tired. But it's okay. It's okay because I had a great meditation this morning, and as I'm watching this movie, there's parts in it that, I just think about how much love I have in my life and how much Scott loves me. And sometimes I think it's overwhelming for me because I have just never been so loved by someone so much. And it's overwhelming, and my heart just breaks wide open. And I think how grateful I am to have met a person in my lifetime that loves me unconditionally, and I love him unconditionally. And it's just amazing sometimes. So anyway, just some thoughts I wanted to share. So my son was supposed to arrive today. We bought his ticket a couple weeks ago, and he called me last night at 11:30 and told me his dad is saying that he can't come, that he doesn't want him to come after he's already told Isaiah and me weeks ago that it was okay. We bought Isaiah's plane ticket and his lift tickets. And I guess I just want to show everybody this is exactly what fear does. That this is exactly why I live this life, to show my son that you don't have to live that life. His dad thinks we're going to some seminar, those terrible Dr.Joe seminars. Because who would go somewhere to ski for 2 weeks? His words. And his words to Isaiah, now that I have you living here, why would you still choose your mom over me to go somewhere? And that's the thing that hurts me the most, is that he puts that on him. I'm not gonna lie, I'm so angry and hurt and so mad. This is why it just makes me even more want to show this world. His dad is so fearful. That's all he lives by, is fear. That's all he lives by, is fear. And look what it's doing. You can't even understand why somebody would go skiing for 2 weeks. It doesn't even, he thinks it's about some cult. And the funny thing is okay, it's a cult. So what is this cult telling me to do? To love more? To try to inspire people to live the best life they can? That's what it's doing. Sign me up for that one, not the one he's living by. And I don't care how long it takes. I swear to God, the rest of my life will be showing people you don't have to live that way. You don't have to live that way. And love will win. Love will always win over fear. I just got off the phone with my son and just wanted to share that, it's been a rough day today. It's been a really rough day, but I believe and I know that I create my reality. So I know I did this to just make me stronger and to make my son stronger and to make him see that fear will never win, ever. And I will continue to go to workshops, and I will continue to believe that travel is a better education than sitting in a classroom. I don't care what he thinks or anybody else thinks. I really don't give a fuck. It's just giving me more ammunition to continue living this life and to show my son. And he's seeing exactly what fear does. Okay, so I wanted to share some thoughts and recap what happened yesterday. There's a couple important points that I want to make and a couple things I definitely want to be sure to say. So a recap of yesterday. My son, Scott, and I brought his 2 sons here to Breckenridge, Colorado to ski. His sons are here for a week. We're here for 2 weeks. And I had asked Isaiah to ask his dad if it was okay if he came. He would miss 3 days of school. Since his dad will not communicate with me whatsoever, I have to go through my son. So a couple weeks ago, he asked him. His dad said that was fine. We bought him a plane ticket for here. We bought him lift tickets to ski, and he was supposed to arrive yesterday at the Denver airport at 5. His dad decided the night before at 11 o'clock at night that he didn't want him to come. There is a concert he wants him to go to in Hood River where he would miss 3 days of school, so he didn't want him missing 6 days, and he didn't want him to come. He also said something along the lines of, we're here for a seminar, a Dr. Joe seminar. Obviously, Isaiah was upset. I was upset. So I just told him we'll sleep on it. Maybe in the morning it will be better. Well, Isaiah woke up to his dad saying, no, you're going to school. Obviously, it was a very rough day yesterday. It's not only me and Scott even that are hurt. It's watching my son be so hurt. And, it was it was that gut wrenching fetal position on the bed moment of just sadness and pain and anger, and it broke my heart. It broke my heart that they are so stuck in fear and have no idea anything about me and choose to judge me or who I am or what I'm about or any of that. And not one person has ever reached out to me to try to understand where I'm coming from. And I know there's maybe a lot of you watching that don't know my story, but I know, not just them, there's a lot of people in my life that have, judged what I've done and who I am now. And not any of them have ever reached out to me to ask me, not any of them. I know they think, well, you changed so quickly. Well, yeah, that was the point. The person who I was and the life I was leading. And there are some that were in my life that saw it firsthand. They saw the struggle and the misery and helplessness I was in. They saw it firsthand, and they may forget that, but they saw. I had lived my life, my whole life, by what everyone else told me was normal or how I was supposed to live. I was supposed to have, live this life with 2 dogs and a cat, and you have to work till you retire, and that's. And yet I was miserable. I was in an abusive marriage. I was a drug addict. I was miserable, and that's what I was teaching my kids, and I knew it. And that voice inside of me, we all have that voice inside of us. That voice inside of me just got louder and louder, and I knew I wasn't living the life I was supposed to. I knew that at a soul level, but I was too scared. I lived in that fear. I didn't think there was any other way. I had no concept of anything else. And not like that's a bad thing. I'm not judging people who want to live that life. I just couldn't. I couldn't. And, I found Dr.Joe Dispenza along with a ton of other spiritual teachers. I just choose to live my life differently now. I choose that. I choose to not be a victim. I choose to not listen to what the president tells me I have to do or what doctors have to tell me I have to do or, anyone for that matter. I lived that life, and it got me misery. And I'm telling you, I have never felt such joy and love ever in my entire life as I have in the last year and a half, 2 years, ever. I choose to spend my money and my time on learning. Do I think Dr. Joe is a guru or a saint or a god? No, he's just a teacher. He's a teacher for me. Just like if you love skiing and you want to get better and you want to learn more about skiing, and maybe there's someone you look up to and you want to learn from them. You want to be the best you can be because you have a passion for skiing. You have a drive for it. So you choose to spend your money on maybe going to workshops that teach you how to ski better, or spending money on better skis because you ski better. It's no different. It's me wanting to evolve. And are those choices sometimes unpopular? Absolutely. Have I lost a lot of people in my life? Yeah. And some were gut-wrenching and so hard. But I know I am the person now that I was supposed to be. I know that, and I know my kids see that, and that's all I care about. And even if you don't go as far as I go in thinking you create your reality, you still have to agree you have a choice. You have a choice in how you feel. You have a choice in how you live your life. And are sometimes those choices hard? Oh my God, yes. But my kids have taught me, Isaiah, God, he amazes me. He teaches Scott. Scott told him when he was here, and, Scott was in a funk, and Isaiah said to him, remember, you have a choice. And Scott knows this, and he said, I'm sitting there listening to a 15-year-old, but he knows, he's teaching me. Yeah, he's right. I know this, so I better pull my shit together, And the funny thing is Isaiah tells me all the time, he said, I get frustrated with, adults, even in people my age, when they, talk about being a victim and he said, I just want to tell them, you don't have to be, you have a choice, but I'm scared they're going to think I'm crazy. So tell me what is more crazy, that a 15-year-old wants to tell his peers, listen, you don't have to give in to the drama. You don't have to give in to all those shitty emotions. You have a choice in your life. You can make different choices. And he's afraid to tell them that. He does on occasions. And I know it's, you're constantly worried about what people are going to think. This is why we choose this life, because we don't want to live a life of fear. We don't want to live a life that we think the world is out to get us, and bad things happen in the world, and there's bad people in the world, and you have, things happen to you, and you have no choice in that. And, as one of my really good friends always says and teaches, look at all the experiences in your life, and what is the only common denominator? You are the only common denominator. And, I said, Isaiah, we're going to feel it, we're going to be sad, and then this is a work. We get through it, and we don't let it take us over. And he sent me a text. I didn't see it till this morning, but it was late last night, and he sent me a link to a song he listened to, and he said, Mom, I turned this on in the shower, and I danced in the shower, and I lifted my spirits, because that's what we do. And that alone made it all worth it. That is the point, to not let these things just sit and for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week, a month, sit in that anger. Am I still angry at him, at my ex? Absolutely. But I choose not to live in that anger. And when I'm scared and when I think, oh my God, what am I doing? I remember those moments that he knows, he sees, my kids are seeing. And, are people going to judge me? Absolutely. I don't see the conversations I have with my children. Even though I'm not in the same physical proximity, I am closer to them than I ever have been. And they are learning, and I'm not just telling them, I'm showing them. So I know it is all worth it. Is that hard some days? Does it bring me to my knees? Absolutely. But those moments, those texts, they just blow me away. This path isn't always easy. It's not easy to go against the grain and to go against what's looked at as normal. I met the love of my life. I met a man that I could never even dream up. I mean, and I don't just say that lightly. It's not oh, I love him. It's a deep soul. It's grace. It's, oh my God. I there's no words for it. Estelle, she messaged me yesterday morning without knowing and said, I just want you to know I love you and I'm so proud of you and I'm with you. She didn't know. So explain that to me. How would she send me that without knowing what in the world was going on? She just sensed it. She felt it. She felt me. And she has supported me in a way on this journey that I could never, there's no words. There's no words. And she's carried me, and Scott has carried me, and, these many names, I could say many names right now, that have carried me through this and given me the strength when I've needed it, and I give them strength when they need it. And it's a love that is so beyond this world. It's a love I've never experienced. It's a support. It's an unwavering support that I never knew existed. To say I'm grateful is, it feels, it just doesn't even do it justice. Wow, yeah, yesterday was a big day. It was the work. I woke up to Scott reading things to me that he'd written in the middle of the night about, his journey that has been, the same, where he's had to give up a lot, and waking up to a man that's, can lift my spirits, and text messages that just remind me, no, don't sit in it. You don't have to sit in it. That's the work. Don't let it take you over. So today I'm just grateful. I'm happy. I'm filled with love. And, I wanted to share that. So thanks for listening, guys. One more thought I wanted to share. I had really thought about, so when my daughter was born, I thought so much about how do I instill confidence. A little bit more difficult for girls, especially going through puberty and teenage years and things like that. And because I grew up without really having a lot of confidence and making a lot of my decisions based on a lack of confidence, it was so important to me to give her that sense of confidence, true confidence, that acceptance of herself. So I would always think, how do I do that? How do I instill that in her? What is it that makes people confident? And now I know, going through what I've gone through and learning the things that I have, that I think what instills confidence is being able to listen to your inner voice, to stand up to others who may not agree with your voice, but to stand true and to stand strong in who you are. I think we get taught as a society when we're young to not put value into that inner voice, and to always listen to other people's voices who know better. That was always me. Other people always knew better than me. And it wasn't until going through this journey and learning to really love myself. It's a cliche, but it's so true, to really, really, truly feel that in your body and learn to listen to that voice. I always caution, getting too much advice on something from other people. You have an intuition, and that's a slippery slope, because you start getting other people's opinions in, and it starts clouding your judgment. And then you start thinking they know better, and you start making choices that aren't in alignment with what your soul is telling you to do. And eventually something will happen to where your soul shakes you and wakes you up and tells you no. Listen to that voice inside. So I just caution all of you out there to listen to that voice inside. We all have it. We all have that intuition, but we let ourselves believe that others may know more. And Scott says it all the time, but it's true. How do I know your color blue is the same color as mine? I can't see through your eyes. I can't see through your experiences. So I don't know what you see. So how can I tell you to do something when I haven't seen the situation fully through your eyes? I think that's how we gain confidence. That's how we learn to love ourselves, is to listening to that voice, even sometimes when everybody is telling you it's wrong or you shouldn't do it. Or, if you have that belief and you have that voice inside of you, you will always end up okay, even better than okay. You will end up exactly where you want to end up, because you're following that. So anyways, just a couple thoughts on listening to your intuition.
We have to toast the Kelly, honey.
Yes, we do.
What?
Say hi, my beautiful friend. It's just video. Oh, we could do a camera. We could do camera. Yeah, why don't we do camera? Okay, ready? Breckenridge, Colorado. 2019 Euler Fest. There's Jeanette with the horn.